Hi, my loves. I'm just coming on to answer some questions today. I just want to make sure that this is working though, because you guys know me in technology. I am just figuring this out still, and I'm not the best with technology, so we'll see if this works. So hi, my loves. I was going to come on a bit later, and I don't even know if I can see any of if you guys can message me, or if I can see if anyone is online. So I'm just going to answer the questions. I'm going to answer some of the questions that were in the group. Okay, my loves. And if you guys can, see this, great. And if you can't, we'll figure it out for the next time. Okay. But for now, I just want to answer some of the questions that were in our group, because I want to answer them as they're coming in, because I love them and I want to support you guys as much as I can. So I want to go into Sandra's question first. So Sandra, I loved your question, and I know that I kind of gave a little bit of a snippet of an answer to your question in the group. I kind of did a little bit of a recording and I put it in the comments. I'm just still sort of figuring out what is best in terms of how to answer your questions, but I want to give you a little bit more of an in-depth answer here. So first of all, I love that you asked me this question, and I love how specific it is, because in terms of this private group, the way that you guys are going to learn is through asking me your own specific questions, right? General questions, I'll answer that. They're great, but I'll answer that publicly, like in a YouTube or things like that. But the whole purpose of this membership is so that you guys can come with me with your own, your own specific questions, and I can help you guys navigate through that. So this question is so great. And in learning, in this person's question, a lot of you guys are going to learn, right? So let me just, and if anyone is online and watching, just send me a message, because to be honest, I don't even know if this is working. So just let me know. Okay, so Sandra, your comment was, Fareen, thank you for facilitating this group. Feminine boundaries feel so nourishing and self-loving. I wanted to post a conversation I had with a gentleman online to receive any feedback and guidance on how this was handled. Thank you again for this space. So I love this question. Okay, so I was going through these messages. Now, I have a few questions. I don't know if these messages were on via text, so you had given him your number, or if they were on the dating app. So I recommend, and if you guys have read What Men Want, I'm going to get into, sorry, one second. Milo, no. He's so smart, that dog. He goes into the garbage when he thinks I'm distracted. So if you guys have read What Men Want, and it's in the membership right now, I'm taking it down in a few days. It's in the membership. So if you guys read What Men Want, I talk about this, and I talk about dating and the initial messages and things like that. I don't recommend getting off a dating app and moving into text messages. Not until it's been a few dates. So especially not in the beginning. It's too soon to give your personal information and private information to a man, because you don't know, who this person is. Like, you don't know how, you just don't know, right? You don't know who this person is. You don't know how they are, their mannerisms. You don't know if they're dangerous. So, it's just not a good practice to be giving out any sort of details initially on a dating app. So this to me looks like it's a text message conversation. So so that's one thing. I would keep everything on that app. And so let me just go through the messages. So there was a picture in here, and your picture. It's a beautiful picture, by the way. And he comments on it and says, lovely smile, you are beautiful. So again, I'm a little bit confused. Like, I don't know if this was on an app or how he's commenting on that picture. Did you send it to him? So you can provide me further clarification in the group, okay? He says, you're beautiful. And then you said, thank you for noticing. That was very sweet. Kiss. So I would also not put a kiss. It's too forward, and it's just too much too soon. So if a man compliments me and says, lovely smile, you are beautiful, my response would just be thank you, and it's a happy face, right? Like a emoji. Okay, and then he says, nice to meet you, I wish to know more about you, right? And you respond saying, I'd like that. Okay, so that's okay. So I would say nice to meet you as well, exclamation. And then when he said, that's what my response would be to that. So when he says, nice to meet you, I wish to know more about you, my response would be, nice to meet you, exclamation, right? And so then he goes on to say, tell me more about, are you here for serious relationship or something casual? Where do you reside? Do you have kids and where do you work? So already in these messages exchanged from him, it doesn't feel good to me. It feels like a lot. It already feels like there's 4 messages from him already. And it's very, it's already to me feeling uncomfortable, right? So when he says, tell me more about you, are you here for a serious relationship or something casual? That's a great question on his part. There's nothing wrong with that. What is concerning to me is that he's like not even allowing you to have a follow-up. It's like he moves on to where do you reside and do you have kids and where do you work, right? So that already shows me that there's an unhealthy attachment on his end. Because you normally wouldn't ask questions like that one after the other. Like healthy masculine men will generally just ask one question and kind of relax, right? They're more relaxed in terms of their energy, because there's a confidence and self-assuredness in healthy masculine energy men, right? So when he says, are you here for something serious or something casual? Now, because I haven't done one-on-one coaching with you, I don't know what, I have no clarity in terms of what you want. I'll just focus on me. For me, when I was on dating apps or things like that, I was looking for something serious, right? I was looking for marriage. So my response to, are you looking for something, a relationship or something casual? My response would be, yeah, like I'm definitely looking for, marriage. I'm definitely looking for something serious. Just want to see where things go. But I'm definitely not looking for anything casual at this point in my life, right? So something like that. And again, the energy is what matters. It's not demanding. I'm kind of just stating what it is that I'm looking for, right? So then he says, where do you reside? Do you have kids and where do you work? I wouldn't respond to those questions. I would just respond to the first question and then let him lead after that, right? Because it's too much, right? So you respond by saying, I am here looking for a relationship that is genuine, rare, and real, can share more in person on a date, period. Now, this is very closed. This and like your response is very flat and it's very closed. And your heart is closed. Now, I can understand that, maybe his frequent messaging kind of turned you off, but that makes sense. But if you are going to allow yourselves to continue chatting with a man, you don't want to close up because then what's the point, right? If you're having a strong reaction like that where you want to close up, just delete him. You don't need to, because this is about practicing keeping your own heart open, versus, so if I was turned off, so for me, in terms of, I'm very, very picky in terms of what I was looking for in a man. I have very high standards, but that is because I am that, right? I'm highly educated. I'm an entrepreneur. I went to law school. I have a degree. I take care of myself. So, and I'm very secure in who I am. So for me, if I feel anything like that, I'm not even going to engage. I'm just going to move on to the next person. So this is where the inner work comes in. Okay. So, in terms of your messaging, I'm here looking for a relationship that is genuine, rare, and real. That is also too much, right? It's just heavy. Can share more in person on a date. So it's too heavy. So a man that is more masculine in his nature, and this man isn't, right? A man that is masculine in his nature, would get turned off by this because it's very flat, your response. And on top of that, you're already moving into, I will get into a date. There hasn't been any sort of back and forth banter yet, right? So his response is, so a healthy man, a healthy masculine man would respond to that by probably disengaging, because there's not enough emotion there and it's not alluring enough, right? This man, who is not masculine, responds saying, wow, that's good. You look so stunning. Where are you from? So when our response is very flat and unengaging, a man that is masculine and healthy is not going to be attracted to that, right? Masculine men are attracted to feminine energy women, and feminine energy women feel good, right? And again, read Secrets of the Feminine Women, because I go into like a lot of details on in terms of what femininity is and how that looks, right? This man, and this is all about awareness, right? In this group, you guys are going to get awareness from me. In terms of your own inner work, that is private coaching, because there's a lot of healing, right? That this group isn't designed for that because that's just it isn't, but it is here to give you guys awareness, right? So when we send a message that is like that and that's flat like that, and for the girls that are in the group, go read the messages again after you've heard, we've had this call, because you guys will be able to feel this in your body. When we send a message like that, if it's a masculine man, a healthy masculine man, and you can even ask my partner if he ever comes on in here, he's going to be turned off by that, right? And he will probably unmatch. If a man is insecure, he will respond like this. Wow, that's good. You look so stunning. Where are you from? So it's like we were sort of cold in our message, and masculine men won't be attracted to that. They'll just move on to another person. But when we're insecure, it'll pose as like a challenge, and he's going to want to learn more about you. Okay, that's not healthy. Okay. And so he asks, wow, that's good. You look so stunning. Where are you from? And you respond, it's in my profile, wink. So now at this point, I can feel you're turned off by this man, which is good. That means your instincts are on point. I wouldn't send a wink. It's just inappropriate for this. And again, I don't know what you're looking for. I don't know if you're looking for marriage. I don't know if you're looking for fun. I don't know what you're looking for. I'm just going by the assumption of I'm looking for marriage, right? So I would be looking for quality. If at this point you recognize that this doesn't feel good, just move on to the next person, right? So he responds, good. Do you have a specific characteristic you look for in men? Okay. So again, he's asking more questions, which is really interesting, because it's not that we have to ask questions back, but we want to be open. So you're not even open and he's still messaging you, right? So you respond, yes, I do, period. Again, not open. And then he goes on again. It's like he's pulling answers from you. What are they? Masculine men wouldn't do this. Okay. So your response is, there are qualities that I observe and can usually pick up on if he has them in the process of getting to know him. I'm thinking there are qualities that I observe and can usually pick up on it if them in the process of getting to know him. So again, that's a very generic, unalluring, unattractive answer. And so this is not to put you down or to make you feel bad. This is so that you have awareness of what's going on. And if you want to get into something deeper with me in terms of, your own patterns and things like that, just schedule a call with me privately and we'll get into that more. But this isn't to put you down. This is just so that you can understand kind of what's happening within your own dynamic, within your own self. Okay. So, right, we're really close. So his response then is, I'm thinking if I am your type of man. Okay, so again, he's just really turned on at the fact that you're so cold, right? And then he messages you and says, I hate games and all I want is love. So in my body, that's very yuck, right? Healthy men don't communicate like that. Healthy men do not put all their cards on the table like that, especially for a woman that is not making them feel good. And it's just like feminine women, right? Like I move towards people that appreciate me and value me and, you know, show up for me. I move to that, and people that are warm. I move away from people that are cold and don't make me feel good, right? Why? Because I'm secure, right? Okay, so then you respond to that by saying, show me through your actions who you are, and I'll let you know if you're my type of man. Okay, again, we don't need to say that. So in this point, and this is where this conversation sort of ended, in this point, oh, and Kashmir, I know that you're here because I see something. Do you want to go into the bigger group just to let them know that I'm live streaming on YouTube as well if they want to catch it? If you don't mind doing that, and then I will I'll put that post in the group. I don't even know if it's working, but we'll try. Okay, so at this point, I think that you were just not interested in this man. And so if you're not interested in this man at this point, you don't need to say anything. He doesn't owe you anything. You want to just like move forward, okay? So I hope that was helpful. And let me just see all the other questions. Give me 1 second because I'm trying to go into the group. Okay, I can see. Oh, thanks, Ariel. Okay, I'm on this new streaming thing because I'm just figuring out technology and I'm really proud of myself, to be honest, but I haven't figured out how to see your guys' comments and things like that. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'll figure it out as time goes on, but so I can see some of them. Okay, so this is good. I feel interrogated too soon. Yeah, exactly, my love. It feels and remember I told you in terms of energy, in terms of men and in terms of masculine men, they're very laid back. Like even with Peter, you know, he was so good in his pursuit of me. And even my ex, like I actually wondered at one point, I was like, oh, are they interested in me? Because they were not super direct. They were direct in terms of their actions, but they weren't like that in terms of the way they communicated, right? Because they're men, and secure men are just not going to do that, right? Okay, so let me just go into the other questions because I know there were a few. Okay, and I see that you did that. Thank you, Kashmir. I love you guys for helping me out with everything. It is super helpful because I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, so let's go into the other questions. Okay, so my love, I'm going to just call you Kay for your own privacy. Okay, since we've been talking much on attraction, can you please explain a bit further on how feminine energy men are? Like, how do we know if in fact the man is in his feminine energy? Okay, this is such a great question. I'm not going to get into it in too much detail on this because I'll do a separate video on it because it's a more general question. But men that are more feminine in their energy are very and I'll get into this more because you guys can give me your own personal situations, and I know your situation as well, so maybe I'll kind of speak to that. But men that are more feminine in their energy, they're less self-assured, they're less confident because masculinity is confidence, masculinity is self-assuredness. One of the things that I'm really attracted with my partner is he has a very strong sense of self. He has a strong sense of confidence, right? That's how he went into Kent State and is an athlete and did things like that. He has a very strong sense of who he is, right? So men that are more in their feminine energy lack that, and they lack direction and they lack purpose. They lack that. They lack this confidence. Now, feminine energy women also have those qualities. Like I have those qualities within myself as well, not to the extent Peter would have it, because Peter is more masculine in his energy. I'm more feminine. So I'm predominantly shy. I'm predominantly girly. I'm like those things in terms of confidence for me, I have to work at. Like in terms of even being visible in terms of what I do in my business and in terms of growing it, I am now doing this. The last few years, I've my practice has been private coaching, and I've done well in that. And I haven't focused on growing my brand, if you guys see that, right? Why? Because being on videos and showcasing myself and all that is really uncomfortable for me. So I had to build courage to do that. It doesn't mean I'm not confident. I am confident. I wouldn't have been able to be a lawyer. I wouldn't have been able to do that. But I've had to build my way up into doing this because, essentially I would love to just be with you guys and be with Peter and like live my life and that's it, right? So masculine men have this built-in confidence within themselves at an earlier stage in life also than we do as women, right? This is how masculine men go and succeed in the world and get things done. And there's so many amazing masculine men in our world, and they make our world go round, right? Like if they were shy and if they were more connection oriented and they lacked purpose, our world wouldn't be what it is. So there's a lot of negativity around masculinity, but masculinity is so beautiful. We don't want to shame men because there's a lot of amazing, good, hardworking men out there. And if without those men, we wouldn't have what we do today. So feminine energy men, they lack direction, they lack purpose. And what they do is they will latch onto women that are more masculine in their energy for that, because they lack it within themselves, right? So they need that sort of structure from someone because they generally didn't get it. And it's usually in their childhood and all that. And, we can get into that more if you guys want. And if you guys want me to do a video on that, I'll probably do a video on that on YouTube. So guys, just let me know what you want me to do with respect to that. But so that's how you'll recognize. So for me, in my body, I've always attracted, in my body as in it's a feeling, I've always attracted very masculine men because I am very feminine in my nature. I'm not attracted to feminine men. I'm not attracted to that which I am in a man. Does this make sense? So I want that which I am and more, right? And that is what masculinity and femininity is, right? It's the interplay of energies that we both have within each other, but the other person has more of that. Peter has intuition, Peter is loving, Peter is all these things, but I have more of that. And in the book, if you guys remember the foreword he wrote, he said, he brings the logic and I bring the faith and things like that, the grace. You guys remember he said something like that? And when you guys meet him, you'll see what I mean in terms of he has those things in himself, but he is more masculine. So what I'm attracted to in him is his strength, his structure, his that. So even for me, and in terms of this and in terms of my business and moving to the next stage, I'll get overwhelmed. Like the other day, I got so overwhelmed because I have so much to do. And and I realized that the last few years and when I was writing my books, I stopped posting a lot of content. And the reason I did that is because I've always attracted one-on-one clients, right? And I wasn't posting content because I didn't want any more clients, which is so dumb, but that's the truth. And I realized that there's all these masculine coaches that are teaching feminine energy and they're masculine. They have way more followers than I do. They want to work with me, which is really interesting. But they're further ahead in terms of followers and things like that because they put a lot more energy into the business than I did because I was focusing on my one-on-one clients. So, yesterday I got overwhelmed. And when I get overwhelmed, I just get like stuck, kind of. I'm just like, oh my God, I get like paralyzed. Peter doesn't face that. He will be like, don't think about anything, just do. And you'll knock things out, knock things out, knock things out, knock things out, right? I am feeling first. So my feeling was overwhelmed. And then my action was, oh my God, I froze. I literally froze, right? Because it's a lot to learn. This technology is a lot for me. I'm learning all these things. I'm moving from high ticket items, my one-on-one coaching to, $100 membership group. Like all these things are kind of playing into my mind. And essentially I got stuck. So that's how, and so a feminine energy man will behave more like a feminine woman. Like he'll get stuck, he'll lack direction, he won't know what to do. He'll look for answers and guidance from his woman, right? And so I actually have friendships and family and things like that, a lot of them are in that dynamic where the woman is more masculine and the man is more feminine, and the woman is the one that gives more direction and guidance to the man. So that's a simple, I don't know if it's simple because I rambled on, but did that make sense? Like, I hope that made sense. I hope that made sense to you. Okay, so I'm going to just go to the questions further back before I. Okay, so some of the questions we already did in our other live, so I'm just going to move on from that. So Heather, so after watching the live yesterday and learning how the ladies of the Bachelorette are very feminine, I love this question. I had to go watch it again. However, in my observation, it seems as though Rachel has a lot of woundedness coming through and even reactivity. I'm not an expert, and that is why I want to learn and wanted to see how they embody femininity. So in my observation, is my observation correct about Rachel, or am I missing more of the picture? I'd love to know where they are emulating femininity in a healthy way. So they're both relatively balanced. And so how you know this is she's on a TV show. So the way that you are going to know where you are in terms of your development is how life is showing up for you. That's it. Don't look at what any coach says to you. Don't look at any intellectual knowledge. Don't look at that from anybody unless you see that they are modeling for you that which you desire, right? Because when you are balanced in your energies, you will attract a man, you will attract a high value man, you will attract opportunities, you will attract money, you will attract wealth, you will attract all that. And if you don't, and you're pushing and forcing to get things done or to make things happen, even if you pay for followers, like I think a lot of these people, I get so many requests to pay for followers. I don't do anything like that. Everything with me is organic. But even if they do that and they have lots of followers or anything like that, they're paying for it. So when you're paying for it, you're not really getting paid clients, right? And same thing in a relationship, if they're not integrated and you're not balanced, men aren't really attracted to you. You're forcing it, right? So just by the fact that she's on this TV show, which is pretty awesome that she got picked for that, right? She was selected. There's a lot of people in this world. There's a lot of people that have applied for these type of shows. But just the fact that she, went on that show, she got selected. She was almost at the top, and now she's selected again. Shows you that she is very integrated in herself, and she is feminine, because you would not be able to attract opportunities like that if you were not in your feminine energy. Feminine energy is attraction, right? Period. So now in terms of levels of femininity, yes, I resonate more with the other woman, Gabby. I think her name's Gabby. I forgot her name. She has more of a strength within her, which I also possess. So I don't take shit from anyone, right? I do not tolerate any disrespect from anybody, including my partner or my family, anybody. I will give chances. I am very open and vulnerable in terms of my communication, but if lines are crossed multiple times, I'm done. And I do not explain myself. I do not. And this comes from a space of the way I show up in relationships, right? So Gabby is the same way. She's very similar to me. Now, Rachel is very feminine as well. In terms of woundedness, yes, Rachel has less of the masculine energy within her. Which is why she breaks down and she has these like crazy cries, right? So I don't know if you guys saw her in the other season, but the same thing happened with Gabby and her, in terms of like they weren't picked. And Gabby was like, he still wanted to move forward with her, I think. And she was like, I'm not doing it. Like, you didn't choose me or something like that, and I'm leaving. She was upset, she was hurt, but that was her reaction. Rachel was crying in the hallway in the stairs, and not even just like a small cry, it was like really dramatic. I was like, you're doing this on TV? Like, it was like really excessive. So she lacks a little bit of strength. Now, she does have the masculine energy within her. She does walk away. She does, she does walk away. She does do all those things. It just takes her longer to do that. And yes, there is a little bit more of she's less balanced. Okay. She's less balanced. Now, they both feel really good to me. I would love to be friends with them. They're amazing. They're both very heart-centered. They're not jealous. You could see that. They're open. They were supporting each other even in the show. I've encountered a lot of jealousy in my life, which is really sad because I support everybody. And I just want you guys to know that feminine women are not jealous of each other. They're supportive, right? They're supportive. And if you see it with these two women, they're both on a show competing for the same men. So, and they were both hurt, and men were saying, guys, watch these shows. You guys are going to learn way more from shows and me communicating and giving you awareness of what's happening than with following a million coaches. So watch this show. But they were both dealing with heartbreak. They were both competing for the same men. You know, one of them would say, I want you, and I don't want the other girl, and things like that. And it's devastating. But if you guys look at the way they were towards each other the entire time, they were super supportive. And it was not inauthentic. I can sense when people are being inauthentic for a show. They were not being inauthentic. And in fact, even on the finale, the other women, when they were chiming in and giving them support, the other, previous bachelorettes or previous women that were on the show, they are also very beautiful and also very feminine, and they were also being supportive. So women that are feminine are not catty, they're not combative, they're not an ego, they're not jealous, they don't compete, they don't do that. They just don't do that. They are very supportive, loving, giving, things like that, in who they are and in their energy. Okay. So I hope that kind of clarified that question. Okay. So, Joanna says, would you be honest with a guy that you were with and still talking to, that you were following a dating coach and that's why you were so cold and distant? No. I wouldn't. Well, I mean, we have to get into this more specifically. I know what situation you're talking about. So if you want to get into this more, book a private call with me and we'll get into that properly. So I'm just going to speak generically here, because I don't know all the facts, and I need to get into all the facts with you, but I don't know the details of the breakup. So if it didn't feel safe in that relationship, and you don't feel in a space of safety within yourself, if you go and admit something like that, like saying you were following a dating coach, saying you've done coaching, or saying anything like that is vulnerable, right? It is very vulnerable. So if you're not in a space to, I don't want to say admit that, but communicate that without judgment. So you don't know how the other person's going to react to that. If you are going to get triggered by his response to that, or if he's not, let's say he's turned off by that, or like, we just don't know his reaction. if you are not a space within yourself that you are going to be able to handle this in a classy way, I definitely do not recommend letting him know that. Now, taking accountability is a whole other story. So you're in the group now, you've had a call with me, you followed my work, we've had conversations about that coach. You see how different we are in terms of our message. And we don't want to blame anybody because people can teach whatever they want to teach, right? And this is why I always say doing things from a strategic standpoint, you got to look at who you're following, right? If this person is teaching about dating and she doesn't have a relationship in 10 years, she's not a dating coach. If someone is teaching about feminine energy and they are not the embodiment of feminine energy, don't follow them, right? They are doing things from ego and it will be hurtful in your life because, like in this situation, you're following these strategies that this coach is telling you to do, and it pushed the man away, right? Because you were being cold and reactive and mean. So we want to take accountability for our part though. So and we can get into this more once you have the awareness, which you do now after being with me and reading my books and being like, you have this awareness now, this light bulb clicked that, oh wow, like I was being cold and reactive. And I think you mentioned in the group, because I know I go into private things in the group, I mentioned how I dealt with the situation in my own relationship. And I think you even mentioned that dating coach would have called me a doormat. So because I'm warm, right? I'm warm and loving. So I'm with a very masculine man and I know what masculine men want. So like that's it, right? And I'm engaged to a masculine man, right? So I'm coming from, I know what I'm talking about, right? Masculine men do not want to deal with reactivity and coldness and harshness and things like that. It is, even I don't want to deal with that in women. I don't want to deal with that, right? Like, get away from me. You don't like me? Bye, go away. Like, I'm not here for everyone. Not everyone has to like me. I don't need to be liked, right? I'm here doing what is my knowledge and expertise. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to help you guys. And if you guys don't like me, I'm not here to make anyone like me, right? It's the same thing with masculine energy men. They don't want to deal with negative energy, right? They will just, this is why they break up, right? Because they don't want to deal with that. Now, if you were considering to being with him, which I know you are, and we can have, before you do anything, like we definitely get on a call with me and we'll speak about it further in more detail. You definitely want to take accountability for your part, right? I am really attracted to people that are accountable, that own up to their shit, that say sorry. People are not perfect. But the worst thing for me is when people are rude or disrespectful, don't treat me right, and don't even come back and say sorry, right? I think it is ridiculously arrogant and it's just unattractive. So once you have the awareness that, oh, this is, I could have behaved better, you can like let him know that, I realized that maybe my behaviors towards you in the relationship weren't the best, and I apologize for that. And that's it. Don't have any expectations. And yes, if you want to get him back and you want to do those things, like we can, have we can get into more specifics on a private call. Okay. Okay. So here's another question. Hi, Fareen. I listen to a woman who teaches women how to be feminine. Other than you, I agree with her 99% of the time with what she has to say. She tells women to not work because it makes them masculine and stressed, and their men more feminine, lazy, soft. This woman is extremely intelligent too, and she speaks from experience in her own marriage. My mom worked 3 jobs while my dad, since I was 14 years old, worked none, and he has no legitimate reason not to. My mom became super masculine in every way because of this, and to me, it's a sore spot. I really want lots of children, and I'm not going to pretend that I don't because of societal pressure to pretend I don't. My guy wanted 4 to 5 kids like I did, and he made good money. The woman I listen to suggests we do heart-led businesses if we must work, but put your family first. And there are some things that would interest me that I could do this with. You would call the women who follow you successful, but would I be a failure if I followed my heart and did what I want? I think other women here would benefit from knowing, could you have been a lawyer until you were 75? Don't you feel better doing it in the feminine way and pursuing a heart-led business? Okay, there's so much to this question. So really good, great question. Now, give me 1 second. She tells women not to work because it makes them masculine and stressed. Okay, I disagree. So I definitely believe that women should be educated, and I definitely believe that women should pursue their own lives, and I definitely believe that women should take care of themselves, become educated, read, better themselves in their life. Like, no doubt about it. That is your masculine energy. Now, I don't mean that only successful women follow me. I just speak from a space where I am a lawyer. I was a lawyer. I went to law school. I worked in a corporate environment, and I maintained my femininity. So I'm not a dating coach that kind of just sits at home and does this. Like, I come from a background that I've done a lot of schooling, and I'm very intelligent, and I am very wealthy. I've done all these things from a place of living on the streets, trying to commit suicide, being on my own, creating a business. Like, I've overcome a lot of things. And this is the reason I'm a coach, right? I'm a coach, not because of what I've read from other people, but because in my own life, I've overcome a lot of obstacles. I'm sure I still will. And I've got myself out of it. And I've maintained certain things, and I've developed and things like that. And I had no money at one point. I put myself in school. I did every single thing on my own. I didn't have family support. I had a very difficult life. Now, me getting to that point was my masculine energy, right? I couldn't just sit around and wait for someone to save me, right? I don't believe in that, and I do not believe that is what femininity is. I just don't. That is weakness. And that is looking for someone to save you. And the thing is, you'll never find a man that will want that is healthy in his energy. Now, because men that are more masculine, again, there's different levels of masculinity, but I'm talking about like balanced masculine men are very attracted to women that are also intelligent and that are also smart and literate, and can hold their own, but are feminine, right? So my partner, he, was playing golf since he was 13. He got scholarships to go to different universities. He had a full scholarship to Kent State, playing professional golf. Like, it's attractive to a man that to be with a woman that is also very educated, right? Same with my ex. He's a lawyer, things like that. Now, the key is that the woman is still in her feminine energy. So the reason that men sometimes shy away from women that are more successful isn't because they're afraid of their success. It's because those women are very bossy and manipulative and pushy. And in fact, a man just commented on my YouTube channel today saying that he prefers women that are like younger because he wants a woman that is more feminine in her energy, and women that are older tend to be bossy and things like that. I love that comment. And if you're watching this, I really appreciate all of your support. And it helps to highlight my message when men kind of say the same message I do. So he's moving towards younger women. The reason is because most women that are my age, so I'm, turning 39, have a hard shell, right? And also women that are doing heart-led businesses are not doing it from their heart. So they're doing it to gain a following. They're doing it to make money. They're doing it for ego. So there's a lot to this, right? So I definitely believe that it is important to take care of yourself as a woman. It is And even, you know, if you're not able to take care of yourself and know how to do that, it is going to be very difficult to have a heart-led business, because you won't be able to attract clients to you. So you will be hustling to get clients to follow you. It won't be organic and natural. It'll be, everything will be effort, right? So you'll be burnt out in the same way. Doesn't matter if you have a heart-led business or not, you'll still be burnt out, right? I moved into doing this not because it's something that I wanted to do intellectually. My soul led me to it. Never in a million years would I have thought I would leave my law to be a dating coach. Never in a million years. And as a lawyer, I was already making up to 300,000. And me coming from a poor background, I had a lot of anxiety when I was leaving. I was scared, but my soul was pushing me to this. I was not outcome oriented. I didn't know how things would develop. I went with my intuition. And this is what I teach you guys to do in private coaching, right? Just the same way as this group, just the same way as YouTube, just the same way, right? I don't do things based on what other people are doing. I do things based on my own intuition. And because of that, I'm able to attract that which is meant for me. Okay. So again, there's nothing wrong with not wanting to have kids or wanting to have kids. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be a wife. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be a housewife. There's nothing wrong with any of those desires. In fact, there's nothing more that I've wanted than to be a wife. I want to be a wife. Like, there's nothing more that is more satisfying to me than being engaged to my partner and, you know, loving him. Like, it means more to me than anything, right? My drive is connection and love. It's not money. So this is the key thing with everything I'm saying. Even as a lawyer, my initial intention for being a lawyer is to make a difference in this world. It wasn't the money. When I realized I'm not going to make a difference in what I'm doing, yes, it was to get safety and things like that, to provide for myself. When I moved into this, I had safety. I had savings. I had those things so that I could move into this business and allow myself to do what I want to do without being pressured to make money from it, right? And I still did, and my private coaching is money, right? I'm not going to invest my time and energy with people without there's an investment for sure, right? It's into the thousands, because there's results that are going to happen from that, and it's my time. Again, the intention isn't the money. I don't need the money. The intention is I want to help women heal and get to the place where where they're destined to be. That is satisfying for me. And clients that don't take the coaching, I've fired clients before because I've said to them, you're not listening, you're not coachable. So if you're not coachable, I don't want your money, right? So there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a wife. There's nothing wrong with wanting to have kids. None of those things are wrong. Doing those things because you don't want to move your own life forward is unhealthy, and you will not attract healthy men, because healthy men don't want a child. Healthy men want a woman, right? And women take care of themselves. Okay. The other thing I was gonna say is that in this business, and especially right now in this stage of my business, I'm working so much more than I ever have. Because yesterday I woke up at 6 o'clock. I think until 8 o'clock, I was straight doing stuff for my business. I'm doing more stuff now for my business than I did when I was doing one-on-one coaching only, right? I'm still working with a lot of one-on-one clients, but I'm doing a lot more now in terms of my business than I ever did. So having a heart-led business, there's a lot of work involved in them. It's not, okay, let's just like laissez-faire and relax. Like, there's a lot of work that comes with that. Until you get the ball rolling, and then things become more, a little bit more simpler. But there's a lot of mindset stuff that goes into being where I'm at, right? I didn't get to 7 figures just like that, right? I think in 8 years, I've accumulated a lot because of my mindset and where I'm going. There's another level of that I'm going to have to overcome to get there. So there's a lot of work that goes into being a woman that is feminine. It is not something where we just sit back and kind of let life happen to us, because that is victimhood. And that is not my message. Okay, my love? So in terms of your mom, and in terms of that dynamic is not healthy, because yes, she was doing everything and he was not doing anything. He was very wounded and he was in his feminine energy. When you are balanced, both people will be providing in their own way. My partner provides, I provide, but he, yes, takes care of the day-to-day things. He provides that safety for me, right? Yeah, okay, so that's that. And the other thing I was gonna say about this is that I just think this is really controversial, and I'm trying to think about what objections people will have. So I'm trying to address that before I get any sort of weird comments. But the other thing I was gonna say is, if you are in a position where you don't have to work, or you've taken care of yourself, and your partner says you don't need to work and we want to raise children, that's beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with that either. That's amazing, right? You don't need to work. If a man is able to provide that, that's great. And yeah, that's amazing and that's great. And that would feel great also to me, right? But it's kind of the intention that we're coming from that matters the most. If we're doing it because we want to be saved, or if it's because that's what our heart desire is, like there's a difference there in terms of intention. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. And again, like, you guys are in the group, we're having a call on Saturday, so you guys can always ask me follow-ups, okay? Okay, so I see this message and it's really long. So let me go into this other message first. If a masculine man blocks you, is it possible to get unblocked? Yes, because everything is energy. And so when you shift your energy, you can pretty much create anything you want in your life, right? Energy is everything. I know a lot of coaches speak about feeling messages. Would you share some insight into this topic? Does it make a difference if you use the word I feel when you speak, or is this a form of manipulation? I love this question, and I'm going to do a video on this on my YouTube as well. I'm not going to get into the specifics. I want to, in the group, you guys can ask me anything and I'll do videos about them and our own classes, but I'm not going to focus so much on that. I want to focus on your own specific situations, right? I hate feeling messages. I freaking hate them with a passion. Like, I hate them. Like, I think feeling messages are so contrived and so fake and inauthentic, and they don't work, right? So, when you talk to a man that's masculine and you're like, I feel this, I feel that, and what you did felt bad, blah, blah, it's false. It's false femininity, because feminine women don't communicate like that. I do say the word feel a lot because that's just naturally who I am and it comes out, right? Like, I think yesterday to Peter, I was just like, yeah, but that's how I felt, and this is blah, but it's not, I'm not faking that. It's kind of just what's how I communicate. I don't like feeling messages, and when I have something that I dislike, I say it in a very frank, direct way. And all the people that have done one-on-one coaching with me, or that know me, or I've not liked something and I've communicated with them, I think you guys will know what I mean. But I definitely do not, I'm pretty direct. Like, I'll say I didn't like this, and I didn't like when you did this. That's it. Maybe I'll say that just didn't feel right. That didn't feel good. But yeah, so again, I'm not into that. And those coaches, I mean, I don't relate to any of these coaches. I don't relate to any of them. I'm just completely different from them. I just don't think that they're authentic in in who they are and what they teach. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like anyone can do whatever. We live in a free world. It's just not, when you are authentically that, you can see when something isn't. So to me, they're just not authentic. They're not authentic, and they're, yeah, I'll just leave it at that without getting too much into that. Okay, so I was wondering, you said in the recent live that you saw your ex after a long time. Yes, we talked about this in the private membership. Was there any attraction felt or he felt? Was your partner being possessive since you knew your ex was around? So I answered this in the private group already in a whole other post. I'm not going to do this here because I am streaming that's on YouTube and I don't want to get into my personal life. But I did say that my partner is very confident and very self-assured, and he was not possessive. He is not possessive whatsoever. And he also trusts me, right? Okay. So what is the high value alternative to leaning back? I feel I sometimes have a difficult time finding balance between showing interest and being an amazing partner versus overdoing and overworking. Again, love this question. Very general question again. I will do a video on leaning back and things like that. You don't need to lean back. You just need to live your life, right? So as an example, my phone is on do not disturb right now, right? I'm busy. I'm with you guys. I'm doing stuff, right? If Peter calls, I'm unavailable, right? I'm not unavailable because I'm trying to be unavailable. I'm unavailable because I'm busy. If I wasn't busy and he contacted me, I would pick up right away. Sometimes I respond to his messages in like a second, right? I don't play games, right? We play games and things like that when we don't feel good about ourselves and we're looking for strategies to attract men. Strategies will work with low value men, with low quality men, because it activates their ego and they don't have self-awareness. Strategies do not work with men that are healthy, because men that are healthy know when a woman is playing games. Just like I know when clients play games, people try to manipulate me, and I will pull away from that because that's not what I want in my life, right? So that's the short form. I think you did get into specifics here. You said there's so much behind my situation, but my boyfriend has basically disappeared and stopped talking to me and had been telling me how crazy stressed and busy at work he has been, and it's only gotten more stressful. I know this is true, but he has basically said that he can't give me what I deserve since his focus right now is working as much as he can to save enough for a house. And I was trying to be so supportive and willing to work through everything and being over accommodating. I think it's difficult to think that he doesn't want to pull through with me alongside him. It's just so sad because I just met his son end of July, which I know was a big deal for him. I just feel a little confused with what went wrong. And in some ways, it feels like he's self-sabotaged. But I think I was also in my masculine by being too filtered and people-pleasing. Thank you for reading. Okay, my love. So I responded to this question. I adore you so much. Like, you know who I'm talking about? I think you were so amazing. I saw that you did a post for me in the big group, just saying how much you love this group and giving me so much love and appreciation. And I appreciate that so much. I just wanted to say that first and foremost. I won't go into like a lot of things here because there's a lot of questions I have to ask you in terms of your own behavior. So if you want to get into something specific with me, you can either book a single call with me, just book a call on the website and I will speak with you and we'll have a coaching session and we'll go over everything and we'll see if we can resolve this. The other thing you can do, which I want to do with you, is I can do a hot seat coaching with you in the private group, just the way we did with Sati. And you know, you don't have to show yourself or anything like that. And I'm not going to put those things on YouTube, obviously, right? Maybe I'll just put a little bit of stuff, but it'll be private. So it'll just be in the group. So you can see what your comfort level is with that. Okay, so in terms of this, just like broadly, because I don't know all the details, men can do multiple things at once and still move forward in a commitment with a woman, right? Like my partner is going through a lot. Like I won't get into that here. I will get into it with you guys. You guys know, but he still moved towards commitment and proposing, right? So when a man feels good around you, a man is going to move the relationship forward no matter what, right? Like just no matter what. So in terms of him saving for a house and things like that, like that could be legitimate, but my intuition is saying that there were behaviors and things happening that weren't feeling good to him. And he just wanted to withdraw from the relationship. Like that's what my intuition is saying. And when a man says that, we want to respect him, right? You want to respect what his needs are, and you want to respect that. So if he's saying that and you are still moving forward or doing anything, like if someone says this is what I want and they don't want to move into something further with you, and any sort of convincing or talking them out of it or being accommodating or nice, is let's just not use masculine and feminine. It's not healthy, right? Because they're putting up a boundary and we're not respecting their boundary. Now, the more we don't respect someone's boundary, the more, if they're healthy, the more they're going to pull away from that person because they're not feeling respected. And I need to feel respected, and I'm a feminine woman, but again, I have the masculine components. Masculine men need to feel respected. Love is respect to masculine men. Like without respect, there's no love for men, right? So if he's communicating these things and we are still trying to make things work, we're not respecting him and he's going to pull away further. And so there's no leading back here. You got to just let things be. And if I was you, if your intuition says it, I would be doing the inner work. If you need awareness in terms of what's going on, like, schedule a call with me. There's no pressure, but I would be doing the inner work on myself to figure out what went wrong versus going outward to try to make something happen with him. Because the more you go outward versus listening to your own intuition and doing what your intuition is calling you to do, the more you move outward, the further away you're going to get from whatever it is that, you need to do. Like, so in terms of business, it's the same thing. I always move in terms of what my intuition tells me. My intuition told me, now it's time to do YouTube. My intuition told me, now it's time to do this group. I didn't have a lot of followers, and my membership is $100 with both books in there, which is insane, right? And I'm giving so much content to you guys. It's insane. Other coaches that have 6-month memberships are charging $10,000 for what I'm giving. It's insane. I'm charging $100. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know what the universe has planned. I don't know. I listen to everything my intuition tells me and I follow through with that. So rather than, trying to force and make things happen, I move in alignment with what my inner guidance says. So with you guys, and I'm saying this because I feel really intuitively drawn to you and I feel like you need to speak with me. I really feel that. So I'm not here to force or pressure anyone or for you to do anything. If you are also feeling that, which I feel like you are, schedule a one call with me. And I think you'll just get a lot of guidance from that call in terms of what went wrong. Don't do anything with him. The only action I would tell you to take is whatever your intuition is telling you to do. And if it is to speak with me, it's probably because there's higher awareness that needs to speak with you and you need to get some sort of clarity on the situation, which is the message I'm getting, right? And so in terms of this and in terms of the situation, I would not do anything more. You don't need to lean back. You need to just take your energy off of him and feel and grieve and all these things. And if you do speak with me, then I will kind of let you know in terms of what the next steps are. And, we can also do something in terms of hot seat coaching or things like that. That still won't be as in-depth as private session with me, because private session with me is when I can just be completely raw, right? I have to filter things for your own sakes and your own privacy in the hot seat coaching. And private sessions with me are really hard, right? So someone has to be willing to want to hear the things I have to say, and that's where the payment comes in, right? You have to be ready for that. In $100 group, I don't believe that you're ready for that. That's just kind of, you guys are here to get some sort of guidance, but that would be like the next step. Okay, my love? So I hope that was helpful. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to answer one more question because I think I've been on here for a little bit now. And I'm getting a little bit tired. So I think there was one more question that I thought was good to answer. Okay, so hi, Fareen. I have a concrete question about attraction. I met a man in June and we dated for a bit. We aren't dating at the moment. He is 50 and I am 33. I am very much attracted to who he is as a person, but not every time I see him, I feel physically attracted. It made me think about what you said. I'm not going to get into that because that's private. I have experienced this also, doubts about the man because I am not always physically attracted. I hope that in this case we can start connecting again on a deeper level. I feel more and more often attracted to him. What are your thoughts on this? I don't really understand the question. I've always been physically attracted to every man I've been with. I think physical attraction is important. And I am a feminine energy coach that teaches about masculine feminine dynamics. And in those dynamics, there's a lot of attraction because both energies are in their energy and it's really attractive. Like I'm very attracted to my partner because he's such a man. And he always tells me, you're such a woman. So there's a lot of attraction. So, you know, without that, to me, I don't know what the point of a relationship is. That's just me. I think there's one more. I have another question related to purpose. If I love doing something and I'm also pulled by it, is that my purpose? Because you said that the purpose is something that pulls you, but you don't want to do it. You won't know in terms of business coaching and things like that, you won't know what your purpose is because in terms of like the universe and divine law and things like that, everything happens moment to moment. I didn't know this was something I was going to do, right? Like you move because there's a pull and you're not, in terms of me, I don't like being on social media. I hate showing myself. You know, I just want things to be simple. I want to show up as I am and I want you guys to learn through the embodiment. Right? I don't like things to be fabricated. I don't like all of that. I didn't want to be on social media and things like that. Something inside me knows that this is what I'm supposed to do. So I started to do it. It wasn't something that I was like, oh, everyone's doing it. Let's go be a coach and let's do this and let's do it for this reason and make money. And that's why I think a lot of people gravitate towards me because there's an authenticity there, right? Even coaches, you know, I've seen a lot of coaches try to be relationship coaches that don't have a relationship or feminine coaches and they're not feminine. And that's all ego. That's not your purpose. And those women, when you're doing something that is not your purpose and not your divine will, you won't be supported in that. So you are going to really have to effort to make things happen in that way. Because when you're supported by universal intelligence, yes, there's work involved, like I have to do, but the work involved for me is following through with everything my intuition says, even if I don't want to, right? I didn't want to leave the law firm necessarily. I was scared to start something and not have any income. I didn't want to be on YouTube. Like people were telling me to start YouTube years ago. There's a lot of things I didn't want to do, but there's something in me that is pushing me. So I overcome that within myself, right? Um, if you are doing something because you like to do it and you think you'll earn money from it, that's not purpose. Because when it's your purpose, you're not thinking about money. Like, yes, we need to survive. And yes, I believe in being financially smart, but that is not your intention behind it. I didn't create this intention to make money because it's $100 and I'm giving free things in there. I could make more money selling my classes. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm doing it because of my love for what I do and for what I teach. And I'm trusting that if the universe is telling me to do it, there's a greater purpose for that. The intention isn't to be seen. It isn't to make money. It isn't to get fame. That is not my reason behind stuff. So if you, and in terms of purpose, you won't know that until you're already in it. And then it evolves, right? Um, all of you guys that work with me and that are in the year with me, and then even in my second year with me, I know what you guys are destined to do because we've done a lot of inner work and we're unlocking that now. What happens with you guys is as soon as I start telling you, you get in your head and you start attaching to it. That's when things get messed up, right? A lot of you, like other, a lot of other people that come to me with these things are nowhere close to doing your purpose. And you're trying to attempt to do something and it's probably not working and you're probably not succeeding at it because there's a lot of inner work that needs to be done still and you're forcing it and you're not doing that which is authentic to you. You're trying to be someone you're not. And you can do that and you can do things from ego. A lot of coaches have done things through ego, but I don't know if you guys can tell, you can really see, especially in the world we live in today, who is authentic and who isn't. And that gap is widening even more. So people that are coming and doing things from an ego space in the future are not going to be successful because that's not in alignment with the frequency of where we're heading. Okay, I hope that answered that. Okay, one more, Claire, my love. This is really long and I don't even know if I understand if there's a question here, but I'll just read it out. After the amazing chasing, and Claire, again, you are just showing up for me so much. And I wanted to say thank you. I think you did a post in the big group today. I haven't had a chance to read it. You're supporting the growth of the girl, like the growth of the community. You're supporting me. You're giving back. It feels so good to me. And I just want you to know that I really see you and I appreciate it like so much. Like I really, really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Okay. So after the amazing chasing versus pursuit class, I've been wondering what high value communication looks like post first date. I can feel the difference between chasing energy and pursuit, but how do we know if the communication after is high value or slow or just not interested? Okay, in what men want, I'm pretty sure I go into dating and the various stages of dating and communication, but correct me if I'm wrong. There shouldn't really be much communication after the first date, right? Like a man that's more masculine. So we don't want to do anything, right? We want to see if a man is committed to us and is interested in us, because if a man is interested in us, a man will move things forward. We don't need to do anything. We want to be receptive. Now, after a first date, there shouldn't be a lot of communication in between. There wasn't with my partner. There was not a lot of communication. I think midweek I think after our first date, that same day, he set up another date for the Saturday. And he had messaged me to say, it was really nice meeting you. And that was it. And then I think like midweek, he just checked in. I think that time we were going through COVID and we were kind of on the same page about stuff. So maybe he sent me an article or something. I don't know. We were talking about that. And that was it. I said, thanks. The day before, maybe he sent me the date for the details, like what restaurant we would be meeting at. And that was it. That's it. Like, Maybe Saturday, after golf, maybe he just messaged just to let me, like, just to say, see you soon or something like that. I mean, it was very generic. So there needs to be time for there to be build up, okay? Fareen has said that if a man wants you, you will know, he will go after what he wants. Yes, I'm learning this. I can fall into waiting energy, which I'm guessing due to being in chasing energy. Yeah. We should not worry or care about what's happening next. I had no idea my partner was going to be someone that I would get married to or engaged to in 7 months. Like, I was dating, I wasn't thinking about him in between. Like, we should not be, but again, I'm coming from a secure place. When we're coming from an insecure place, we're going to be like anxiously waiting for our phone to message, for our phone to beep, right? So I know that once I've done the work, I won't question this, but being arrogant about it and not admitting I need support here won't help. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So if I knew this kind of communication, then I would just relax in uncertainty. If he wasn't interested. Okay, so there's a lot in that question, so I hope I answered that. With healthy men, things will be slow, and it'll start off slow and it'll build if it feels good for him. Insecure men will, be very fast, right? I don't like to take things fast. I take things slow, right? And I say no a lot. In fact, even in business, right? I just had this dating company reach out to me to do a paid partnership. And again, like, there's money involved and things like that. Maybe I'll do it in the future. I don't know. But at this point, it doesn't feel right for me. So that's what I'm going to communicate to them. So I'm not anxiously awaiting for, and of course, like, I'm heading in that direction. That's what I want. I hope I get those in the future. But along the way, if it's not the ones that I want, I'm going to say no, right? So same thing with dating and the same thing with men. We don't want to sit there and wait anxiously for a man's text message and things like that. Okay, my loves. So I think that is it. I just want to see if any of you guys are messaging in. Okay, I'm just looking at your messages now, seeing if there's anything else. Okay, so I always feel like I try too hard with feeling messages. I'm happy to hear that I don't have to be so. No, and my love, you and I have spoken. You're fine. Communicate the way that you're communicating with me, because in my coaching with you, I am in that role, and it felt good to me. Like, I felt good in, the way you communicate with me. So communicate the way that you communicate with me, okay? It never feels authentic. I do, however, try to be a little more descriptive and not too short with messages. I'm really enjoying this. Love, Fareen, so valuable information, and I love listening to you speak freely about being a woman. Exactly the way you communicated to me is the way you communicate with men. Okay, so good. I appreciate that. I love you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be seeing you guys on Saturday. We're gonna have a Zoom call. I'm not recording any of that. That'll just be in the group. So I want all of you guys to show up that day. We're gonna do a live with everybody. I'll send you guys the Zoom link, and we're just going to connect. And, femininity is, we want to connect and we want to feel good and we want to be in that energy. That energy is what's going to be attractive to the universe, right? So we'll connect on Saturday. And again, I'm not going to record this. I'm not going to put this on my YouTube or anything like that. It's just going to be for us members in the group. So please, I want all of you guys to show up. I want you guys to all show up, put your cameras on. Because I want you guys to get into the feeling of it, okay? And it'll just be an hour, because I tend to, and I'm going to time it because I tend to go off, and I also, need to spend my weekend and, get things going with Peter that day. So, okay, my loves, I love you, and I will speak with you guys all soon. Bye.